Welcome to the Leadership Logic Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Sonia, and this is your go-to platform for candid conversations about the ups, downs, and breakthroughs of leadership. You better believe it. We get into it and we tell the truth. So whether you're just starting a journey or looking to refine your leadership skills, this is your space to join us for lessons, blessings, laughter, and of course, the logic behind great leadership. So let's dive into it, good people. Okay, hey, good people. Welcome to the Leadership Logic Podcast. And I am your host, Dr. Sonia, and I have the pleasure of having these phenomenal people on here with me tonight. And we are here to talk about all things leadership. Yes, we are going to have candid conversations about the ups and the downs and the joys and the blessings, and most importantly, the laughter behind great leadership. So welcome again to Leadership Logic. And I am going to allow the guests and the co-hosts to introduce themselves. So we're going to start with the man to the right, Mr. Lewis.
Hey, welcome to the Leadership Podcast. This is Big Lou Lewis, Casey Lewis from the Straight Black Coffee Podcast, where we shoot and pour nothing but straight black coffee all over the subject that we on. Thank you for having me, and I'm excited about your podcast, Sarah.
All right, wonderful. All right, moving to the next, we have the one and only Jay Sanders. Tell us about yourself.
Well, how y'all doing? I mean, the background is for motivation, even though that's Houston. I'm from Dallas. I'm gonna say Dallas, aka Oak Cliff, America, what we say normally out there in the Dallas area. Born and raised in Oak Cliff, but been in education for 21 years. Blessed to be here on your podcast. Watching this, it's a privilege and honor. Hey, that's good that y'all have that Greek love right there.
Yes, sir.
Us Sigmas, we only able to say that to one sorority, but I'm gonna leave that alone right there. But hey, I'm just happy to be here, amongst all this black excellence. So, hey, thank you for having me, and hey, let's get to it.
And thank you both. It is indeed Black excellence. Also, I want to go back to Big Lou. Tell us your background. What do you do?
Well, I'm a behavioralist by trade, but I've been in the school system now for 19 years, 16 years at the DAEP, all Title One. So I'm with the kids that I used to be like. So I understand them, I love them, and I have high expectations of them. I also have extremely high expectations of people that's educating them. So sometimes that's a uphill battle, and sometimes I go to work and say amen, and sometimes I got to say ouch, man, because you know how it is. You know what I'm saying? My biggest, I'm a big proponent of rational detachment. If you're going to be a leader, you're going to be a professional. Learn how to stay professional and not get on kids' level. And I see that all the time where people start responding like kids. And I'm a model not to do that. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's important. And hold on to that thought, because we're going to go back to that, because I want you to explain to the people that are watching what that means. But let me just give you a little bit of my background. So, again, my name is Sonia. I have retired from public education after 30 years. I don't know quite how I feel about it yet, because I just know God's got me on a new journey, still working with kids, but I have been a principal. I've been the executive director. I worked in a wide range of capacities in leadership. And what is so unique about having you two gentlemen on here with me tonight is because the relationship that I have been able to develop by circumstances in my leadership journey that have made us like family. Jeremy used to work for me, and he was designed to be a principal, and we started, sitting down, hashing it out. Let's get to the test, and so he became a principal and is a phenomenal leader. And he just became like my brother. His wife, I love we just have had built that bond. Fast forward into my other leadership role, I meet you, Casey, and then although my role
calls for me to be your supervisor, you became like my big brother. You gave me that push to say, hey, you got this, don't worry about it. When I felt like all hell might have been breaking loose, you were always that safety spot to say, you know what? We see what you're trying to do. We follow you, and it's good. And then you became family to me.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so I think there's no two better people to be on this journey to talk about all things leadership, because I've seen you all in your growth as leaders, but I also have learned from both of you as I was in my leadership role that has been valuable to me. Those calls from Germans are like, hey, we got a thought exchange this. And he's like, you got it, homie. And then I'm chilling, you got it, homie. Those are the moments that a lot of times you two don't even realize those innocuous conversations with me actually benefited me more than you even know. So it's been a blessing to know you, and I look forward to the journey in the future. So we're going to go back to leadership, because I think a lot of times people think they want to be leaders until they get in those roles. And then they're thinking, oh shoot, what did I get into? Because this is not what I decided to do. And what people don't realize in leadership is managing children and students is a whole different ballpark than managing and supervising, supporting adults. And so I want to talk about that, like each of you. What was that moment that you knew as a teacher? Because we all started off as teachers, and we're always going to be teachers by heart. But what was that moment for you that you were like, hey, I got to get in this leadership thing? Because I can tell you, for me, I had bad leaders. And so I knew I had to figure out something better.
Well, I can start. I'll start. I actually had really good leaders. And I think what makes you a good leader is somebody who had learned how to follow. Like I mean, I know what my ideals were in my classroom, and I know how I wanted my school family to run. And I was blessed to have good leaders to keep us going in the right direction. And I was just a strong follower. Whatever the goal, mission, vision of my leader, that became mine. If I disagreed with them, we talked about that behind closed doors, and I still stayed with the mission. I mean, it wasn't my place to do that. My place was to make sure that mission, that vision was came into fruition. One of the biggest stress points that I ever had as a junior leader is watching other people not try to follow it. It's like I'm one of those folks that I know what I want to do, and I know what I'm supposed to do. So when my leaders tell me what vision they want, how I'm supposed to move, I don't have a problem moving like that, and that's how I'm going to move. I just wish people would stop bullshitting around asking questions all the time. If that question doesn't pertain to how your job functions, don't ask the damn question. You know what I'm saying? That's wasting everybody else's time. If I'm a behavior specialist and I'm writing out a BIP for a kid, or I'm working on a kid one on one, and you have absolutely no idea how to modify behavior, don't tell me how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't really. You can tell me what you see in your class, but you don't understand that you can't tell me how to modify somebody's behavior when you don't know that genre. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you how to do polynomials, so you don't tell me how to control somebody's behavior. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
Facts. People don't know how to stay in their lane. And the thing is, everybody wants to tell you how to do your job until it is their job. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden, it's not as simple as they think it is.
I think if it's a thing, now I'm just thinking from the admin end. If it's a thing where you're asking questions about something as far as that build for that, or how, then yeah, I think it should be a collaboration piece. But if you're just jumping in the lane, well, I think you need to do this. Well, hey, do I tell you how to go set up the meetings for those odds? Nah, that shouldn't be. And so, and I see it's a lot of people that do that. So like, and I
Yeah,
like I say,
I think you 100. I mean, the collaboration piece is that's what we need
yeah,
because
but everybody
when
not doing that though. It's
yeah,
like
no,
I want
and
to tell you
nobody
how to
really
do your
wants to.
job, and I
Yeah,
shouldn't, but that's
and
not my place. You know,
Exactly.
and that's the thing. Like, if you coming over telling me, well, hey man, I think you probably need to approach such and such this way. Okay, I'm gonna listen to you. You know why? Because you're the behavior specialist. I know this kid can blow up at the drop of a hat, but also I don't know what Johnny went through at the house last night.
Exactly.
Johnny family was on the news because that house got shot up, and so Johnny upset right now because his little brother got hit with a stray bullet, and they wasn't even coming after them. They were shooting at the house next door. So yeah, Johnny pissed right now. But see, I'm not coming to you, getting that information. Nah, my biggest thing, well, we got to restrain Johnny. We got to put him to the ground. He out of here. He finna go to JJ, all of that. And that's where the problem comes in. And that's, once again, it's the collaboration. One of the biggest things in education, and it's really just not just with education, marriages, businesses, communication is the key. And we don't do that. And that's the thing. And that's why we have so many of these issues and things just start crumbling because we don't communicate. Especially especially us as a people. We ain't gonna even get into that because that's a whole nother podcast.
We might have to get into that. That might be part of the podcast.
But you know,
because that's the truth, man. That envy, that we're not running in this, we run in parallel.
Right.
We don't never face each other. We just run it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the problem. That's the biggest one right now.
That's the big problem. Because the only way you're going to communicate is if you turn towards each other. You can't run like this the whole time and say you're going to communicate. This is not a track meet. Whoever get there first. If we want to be successful as a team, if we want to be good leaders, we got to face each other and do the correct collaboration. What I'm talking about is people who just straight up not minding their own damn business.
I'm with you on that.
Do your job, bro. All you got to do is do your job.
If I'm like telling you something about your job and I can't even do mine. It's like, I can't sit up here and be a leader and be an example, and I ain't even doing my job because I'm worried about everybody else around me. I tell everybody, exactly. my father had this, and I'm just giving you the business. God rest his soul, but he told me this one time. He said, "Son, I'll always remember this. No matter what you do, if I worry about what the next man is doing, I ain't gonna accomplish shit. Focus on your stuff first, then go out and help everybody." He said, because you can't help nobody if your damn house is already in a wreck. He said, you gotta clean that up first. So take care of your business first, then go out and start helping. And that's where it's for me about.
I'm with you 100% on that. I'm with you 100%.
But here's the thing that I thought, because that used to be me, right? When I was an assistant principal, and I was working
you helped everybody.
Yeah, but I was working at this school, right? And they had a lot of challenging behaviors. But and so I used to tell them, I had just come from a section of town working in another school district where every school was 10 times worse than that school, but it was controlled because it was the way that we engage with the students. It was the mindset of the adults. So when I go to this school, they have discipline problems and real issues, but everything that y'all just talked about seeking understanding from the kids, it wasn't happening. And they couldn't figure out why, when I got them, right, the kids were under control, they were fine. But when they had them in the room, that child was so disruptive. Well, I told her, it's part of the problem is how you talking to them. Because you're talking at them and not really understanding. And it goes back to all of those things you two said. Because I would get them in my office and they had a bad morning. They're a product of molestation. They got all these things that they had to deal with just to put on their pants and shoes to get to school, or their dresses. And now you're perpetuating it as the adult because you want to have some power control. You want to let them know you're in charge. And authority does not give you respect. It gives you a position of power, but it doesn't entitle you to respect. And how do we get our teachers or these adults to understand that? Because, and then here's another thing that used to aggravate me. If you call me for help and I come get it because you can't handle it, don't tell me what to do when I get them. Don't give me advice when
Speak
I
on
was
that.
with the kids and you couldn't handle it because you called me. So I always tell them when the police, if you call the police to your house, you can't tell the police what to do when they come to your house. So don't try to tell me because you signaled to me that you didn't have any answers or you wouldn't be calling me. So now you don't get to dictate to me how I handle the situation. If I want to sit down and have a calm talk and a conversation that will be corrective, don't come and tell me your advice or your opinion about it because it didn't work for you. See, I know how to correct. That's why I'm in this role. And that's the difference between leadership and authority.
Exactly. And
I
it's
Well,
can
about
do
yeah.
both.
forgiveness. That we have to have forgiving spirits when we're working with kids as well. Because in that leadership role, when they send them to you or they send them to me, and I sit there and I'm looking, I'm seeking to understand. That's why the first thing you need to do is shut up and listen to the kid. But nobody wants to do that. They try to act like what that kid got to say is not important. You know what I'm saying? But if that kid is responding in a negative manner, their feelings are incredibly important to them. And if you show them that it's important to you, that kid will de-escalate, that kid will calm down, and you can get some headway with that child when you build that relationship. Once that child has a relationship with you, you actually become their go-to person. And we had that at the school where you used to run where I work. We had go-to people. And you have folks that will go against what's working. I need to see my go-to person. I really feel some kind of way. No, you ain't going nowhere. So you're gonna just let that person tab your classroom because you got somebody that could just speak to the person, just hug the person will calm down and feel better. I had a situation before where there was a kid at one of my prior schools that was emotionally disturbed. He had it where he had real control issues. And he was a big dude, about 210, 225, bigger than most folks, you know what I'm saying? So he had a little bit of advantage on you if he really went off. So what I found out was, days was going good, everything was going all right with the boy. And I was like, okay, well, they got him, he's doing good over here. But his teacher would like give him a glazed donut for breakfast every morning. She'd get him
Oh
glazed
no.
donut. Then I had a person, an aide actually say, no, he can't have that. We're not gonna do that. He's not gonna get his way every morning. So one day they decided that they wasn't gonna give him one. Like they're gonna retrain this kid, right? And obviously the kid must be getting a donut at the house too or something, but they didn't get a kid a donut. Now this 220-pound boy tore that room up. You hear what I'm saying? Had people running up out of there. We had to go in there and do what we do as a CERT team. We are, what you can't stand doing, if you can't calm somebody down. But we go in there and I found out that they didn't get a boy the donut. And then when I talked to the adults, I said, no, we just ain't gonna buy no donuts like that. We just not gonna have no donuts like that. I said, are you losing your mind? I said, I'll go get an 18 pack of donuts, put them in the freezer, zap it in the microwave every morning, and let this boy have a good day for 30 days. You know what I'm saying?
So
Why do you
opposed to
want to
what
work
works.
that hard? Give the kid, we do incentives. You have things that help kids make it through, show him some love. If you gave him that and that's showing him love and that's what keeps him calm down, then why would you go against the norm? I
And,
just think that's
I
just
think it's
like,
a power struggle. It's a power struggle. I'm gonna
and
tell
what
you
a power struggle.
because and this is the thing for me. Since I've been in administration, I've bought kids snacks. I keep snacks because for one, I don't have time to eat during the day because admin. Y'all know how that goes. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I would get that because everywhere I be, I work double title. I've always had kids that were home. Like, I have kids coming to school. Hey, Miss Sam, the bus broke down. It was late. I ain't getting nothing to eat this morning. You got anything? Yeah, man, come on to my office real quick. Hey, here, eat this breakfast bar. I keep a few, eat these cheeses real quick, man. Here, so you can get the class. I appreciate it, Miss Sam. And this is from elementary all the way to high school, you
Yes,
know.
sir.
And so, it's just with kids that are like that. And it's some, like, I've learned if you're in a routine and kids accept certain things because kids like to be rewarded. Prime example, I give you one. Now, I got a boy when I was working in North Shore, Big Jaden. Jaden is going to be probably the second round pick for O lineman at Alabama. Man, when I tell you he was bringing a report back to me, and he was like, "Can I get some of the mint?" Yeah, he'd come in every day. So I was in a hurry with a fight or something that broke out. Man, now remind you, Northshore getting ready to have the I-10 eastbound. They getting ready to play Katy. Somebody was like, I told Josh to say, man, get him from me later before y'all get ready to head out. Everybody like, hey man, y'all seen Jake? I said, no, Sanders, you might want to check your office because the fight had broke out something. I didn't get to him. Man, Jaden was going to be late to get on that bus because he was waiting on something. I told him I would give to him later. And now remind you, this is a 6'5", 6'6", 300-pound child, but I owed him something. And we had that relationship. And and kids know anything. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. But I'm like, boy, you better be late. I'm just coming to get my minute. The sound. I like, boy, come on, grab the minute. Come on, hell, we ain't got time for you to walk from the station. Drove like I was in a police chase to get that boy to the stadium. And I'm like, he was with me, y'all. Hey, and at this time, Coach looking at me crazy like he want to say something, but I got to focus on this game. And I'm like, I don't believe this. I told Jay next week, I said, boy, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. And we laughed about it with his mama on Twitter, but it was just so funny. But when kids have an expectation in you, they don't wait to get that. So that boy tore that room up because he had already been in an expectation. If I do this, I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of kids do. They are, if you say you're going to do something, you do it. Like, I get kids tell me every day, hey, I had a good day. Yeah, hold on, let me get in here. I look at the sky again. You ain't getting no referrals another day. Hey, here's some cheese. I see you tomorrow. Appreciate it, Mr. Sanders. I mean, but a lot of them, they do that. And so when you have an expectation, you disrupt that. Unless a kid, now kids know, if you're not at school that day, that day or something, then okay, they're not going to trip. But
Oh yeah, they understand that.
yeah, but when you there and you said you were going to do this, oh, you causing an issue. So you got to continue to say what you mean and mean what you say. It actually speaks louder than words. So I get that. That kid, they broke their routine all because somebody wanted to exemplify some power. And that ain't how it's supposed to go. Because when you do that, you making my job, your job, and everybody else's job hard.
So let me ask you all this question, because you both are administrators. We've all been administrators, and we've all had to coach and develop adults. Taking the student part aside, how do we get the adults to understand that your engagement or lack thereof is what makes or breaks you as a teacher? You can be the best teacher. You can know all kinds of algebra and equations and all this, but your job is to make sure that students can duplicate what you know. And so if you don't know how to control, I say, like, if you go to a prison, there is no way that a prison guard who can only go in there with his little keys, his badge, and maybe a little mace, I don't know, but they don't have weapons in there. And they control some of the most egregious criminals. And with those small little items, there's no way that you can tell me that a school of students can't be controlled. And you'll see 3-4 guards go in there with 100 criminals and still be able to control it because they have structure and they have consistency and they have the mindset to know how they have to engage with them. How do y'all as administrators feel? How can you get adults and teachers to understand that idea that it's about your relationships? Like, what do you do for that?
Well, here's the thing. You got to get buy-in. You got to get buy-in because, see, I worked at a prison. That was my first job. I worked in the United States Penitentiary, Beaumont. One thing I learned going in there, that was just street survival for me, was how you talk to people. Because my father, one thing my father taught me before he left this earth, don't cost you nothing to speak. I speak to everybody. Even at school, like from that day, like that's always the bed in my head. And that's how you start a relationship, speak, even when they don't speak back, you know. And so you have to get the buy-in. Like I would tell my staff, like, because high school, I'm gonna tell you, high school people are different. They not like the caring, lovely. You're not gonna see people walking around with rainbows and stuff like that. Like example, like as a high school AP, the counselors wanted somebody to dress up as Santa Claus. Nobody wanted to do it. You know who did it? Me. Matter of fact, one of my line sisters, she posted it on Facebook because it was funny. But I told her, I said, I came from elementary, so me dressing up like Santa Claus don't bother me. And so, high school people, they're not bubbly and things of that nature. But one thing I always preach to the staff, hey, speak, because you never know what little Johnny or Harmony is going through. And so you have to get them to buy in because they're thinking, well, what does that pertain to me? I'm just teaching them. No, some of y'all, and that was a reality check from my former head basketball coach. I told him, I said, here's the thing, man. You are the closest thing to a father some of these boys got. His eyes got so big. Huh? I said, yeah, you like a father to them.
Yeah.
I said, when I had my son in school with me, all the kids like, man, Mr. Santa treat you like he treat us. Like, that's my dad. That's how he is. But I showed him that, like, because I tell my son every day when he got out of the car, hey, man, I love you. Have a good day. I see the kids in the class. Hey, much love, bro. Have a good day today. Much love, Queen. Let's have a good day today. And so you have to emulate those things. And so when some teachers start seeing me do that by example, they didn't just stand at the door and greet them. They will actually, hey, hello, what's going on? Hey, I saw your game last night. High five. And these are people, like I told them, you want your T-test to go up? How can I get accomplished? Let me see you at some of the games. Let me see you letting these kids know what's going on.
Not no T-test.
Hey, I had teachers like, how am I being just proficient? Well, and this is about school community. I'm not seeing you at one game. Yeah, you call parent. You got your call log right here, but you're telling me you want to go to the next level. So this is what you can do. And so teachers started seeing that, and it was like, I get it now. And these kids are starting to work harder for me in the classroom. Man, Lil D, he ain't just giving up after basketball season. He actually trying because he want to go to college. So I'm trying to help him get into school. And so it was like, okay, now they soaking it in. Now they right. And
yeah,
like
it's revealing. Yeah. So what about you, Big Lou? How do you get people to kind of evolve their thinking?
That's my biggest struggle because when at school I'm everybody's daddy. I had 3 of my own, and when people say how many kids you got, I said next to my 3 about 700.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the teacher at my school I'm not called Mr. Lewis. I'm called Pops or I'm called Dad. You know what I'm saying? And and as a behavior specialist at my school, by 12 o'clock in the morning at my high school, my log in just from people coming in for support. I'm not talking about in crisis where I'm gonna close the door. I'm talking about coming in and say good morning, want a hug, just to tell you they love you or something like that. About 28 kids by 11:30. 28. You know what I'm saying? Now I do middle school and high school, so I'm Pops over there too, but middle school kids that don't seem to be as needy as high school kids. So what I basically do is, they got a lot on their plate and being in high school, and I just actually model what I do. I hug my kids in the hallway. When my sons tell me they love me in the office, in the hallway, I say it back. And when you can get 17, 16, 15-year-old boys to say, Pops, I love you in the hallway in front of everybody. And they know that's not
lie.
You know what I'm saying? And then I've actually had people say, hey, you know that kid? Like, then I'm like, yeah. And that was when I first got there. I'm a first year person at this new school. And they said, man, last year, I said, hold up, before you even start talking to me, I don't want to hear a damn thing about last year. I said, this kid is definitely not the same kid he was last year. I said, you're not the same person that you were last year. I said, but he's growing, you're not. I said, when we get to a certain age, we think we got it all wrapped up. We know what's going on. So if you got ugly ways as a teacher that's been teaching for 15, 16, 17 years, then you just got ugly ass ways. I mean, if you can't reboot or I tell people you reboot with kids as soon as something happens. Once y'all talking about y'all get it over with, it's over with. You cannot have me straighten out a kid, bring him back to class, and you open the door and say, so you ready to act right now? You know what I'm saying? And I know we done all seen that. And what you did was light the fire again. What people don't understand is that the modern child must like their teacher to.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something real powerful that I use with teachers or leaders. that try to tell me background knowledge about students that they have perceived as a trouble child, right? I stop them and I say, "Hey, so are you married?" And they might say, "Or," and if they say no, I say, "Are you in a relationship? Do you have a close relationship with somebody?" And they'll say yes. And I said, "So imagine if you are out somewhere and somebody walks up to you and tells you every awful thing about your husband and your wife from their past that you didn't know. And would you like it?" And they're like, "No." I said, "So that's what you're doing to a kid, because your relationship with your husband or your wife today is not the relationship they had with somebody else couple years ago when they were younger. But you would not appreciate someone walking up to you that didn't have that experience with your significant other and running down everything that's wrong with them according to their experience." And they look at me real puzzled. And I said, "So here's what I want you to do. I need you to allow this teacher or me to craft my own experience in relationship with that person, because who they were before with you may not be who they are with me. And like the saying says, one person's trash is another person's treasure. So we're
Right.
gonna allow that child to be a treasure this year. We're
Hey,
gonna allow him to be a treasure."
I'm with you 100%. I got some little strict rules that I go by. I train my kids the same way, and I try to train teachers the same way. What somebody else eat don't make you shit. I
That's
mean,
right.
I don't. If you eating lasagna, that's not what's coming out of me. I didn't eat none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that people keep that crystal clear. If you what that child has going on, any child that come into school cussing everybody out, calling them B's and F's and all kind of stuff like that, instead of you getting mad at that child, why don't you normally just think, what happened to them this morning? If you seek to understand, you know what I'm saying? Then you'll get a better result. And when I try to model that with teachers, I'm telling you that they seem like they are tired of doing it. I mean, I've been
Hmm.
doing it for 19 years.
But you know what? They don't want to do it until it is their child. When their own children have an experience, oh, they want all of the bells and whistles pulled out when it's their children. But I don't understand why they lack that same empathy for their own for someone else's children. I tell people all the time, this is the only business that I know that we are in that people that don't like their customers. I have
Yeah,
never heard Walmart talking about their products in their store or having people come get their products. I've never seen a McDonald's commercial telling you, "I'm so sick of people coming to buy a Big Mac." But in this profession, we tend to talk about our customers, which are students, which are parents, which are all of these things that come with the job, in the worst manner, and then expect them to have a good day. How can someone be a good customer when you provide them poor customer service? It's a
exactly.
it,
Yeah.
it kills me.
That's
Well,
100.
I think it's also about how you treat people as well. You got some people, they burnt out and it's time. Like some people it's time for them to go home. You know, you got some people like I met a suit. When I say the man been in education since I was born, a year before I was born. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, okay, you've been in this was last. I'm like, okay, I'm 46. You say you've been in education 47 years? I'm like, some people can't leave the game alone. It was like, well, I love what I do. And it's cool to love what you do, but you got to also know, are you being effective when you're doing it? Because just some people tell you in a minute, man, I've been doing this thing 30 years. I know that's the problem. You
Yeah,
can't do the same thing you did 30 years ago now. And that's what I had to tell, coworker, that was telling me that. And I said, if you think you're gonna be able to tell these kids what to do, like this is 1996 in 2025, no 2023. I said you
But
got
you
the
know what?
long thing coming.
There are a lot of people that will say, "I've been married 60 years." And I always ask them, how many of those years have you been happy? because there's a difference
That's
in
true.
quantity versus the quality of any
Mhm.
relationship. So it's not about you teaching or being in education those many years. It's how often, like you said, have you been effective? What has your impact been over the course of your career that you could be proud of, that you feel good?
Right.
Because we need to learn to do more self-reflection as leaders. And that's a really hard thing to do as leaders. You have to be able to take in feedback. We like to give feedback, but we don't like to
I always
receive
like to
feedback.
take
I
it.
had this one leader I was coaching,
Hmm.
and I'm telling you, there was a refraction that was so huge in that person's personality. And I'm talking about a professional troubleshooter, can tell you everything wrong with everybody around that situation, but lacked the ability to hold that mirror up to their face. And I kept saying, understand the effects of this. I'm asking you to look at yourself and really think the cause of it. Because the only way I can help you is if you actually reflect and say, what is the root cause of it? You want to troubleshoot. I want to find a solution. And there's a difference. And that is, leaders have to learn how to influence people enough to get to the solution that's going to benefit everybody there. And that's
Right.
different. And that's a powerful piece. But I'm going to move us on for a second. I want to know and I'll start with you, Lou. What is your aha moment from moving from a teacher into an administrative role that you said, dang, like that either confirmed for you that, yeah, I always knew I was a great leader, or this is where I had a growth moment and I realized that this moment helped me be a better leader. So I'm going to give you an example. I worked at a school where it was like, y'all, I had never seen anything like this in my life. So I got there and I was like, hey, we're gonna turn this around. Let's get these clappers out. And Jay knows what I'm talking about. I was like all for it. I was like, oh yeah, we in this. And y'all, this is not a real problem because I had already ascertained that the kids weren't the problem. So I was like, oh, this could be a quick fix. What I didn't realize is that the mindset of the adults is what I needed to fix. And so I had a leader that was allowing this. Like literally, I went in the teacher's lounge and one of the employees was throwing out, let me give you this college word, chitterlings. Now we know them as chitlins, right? They were in the teacher's lounge. And I remember asking my colleague, I was like, are those chitterlings? Like, is somebody doing it? Because I feel like I was being pranked at this point. I was like, what?
I had to cut my face off, y'all.
They cooking
And
chitlins in the
literally,
school.
the crazy part was everybody knew who it belonged to. They were like, that's Miss So-and-so. Oh, she get them ready for Thanksgiving. She throw them out here in the public school. So I go because I'm the assistant. I go to the principal. Hey, do you know Miss So-and-so is throwing our chitterlings in your teacher's lounge in your sink? Oh, yeah. And she brings me some when she cooks them. They're delicious. Okay,
There
so
it is.
you are perpetuating this foolishness. Okay, so now here's the second part to that, though. When I began as a leader to try to take corrective actions, she was always the interceding for me. She was always in the way. So I learned that she liked the chaos. And let me tell you what I learned. And I actually wrote about this in my book. I learned that she actually was hiring sacrificial lambs. Let me tell you what I mean. She knew she was not the best leader, but loved the title. She loved the title. So she was intentionally hiring people that she could then blame when something went wrong. She wanted all the credit, but when something went wrong, she looked for who she would hire that she thought she could manipulate to blame them. And then, and so the crazy part is that was an aha for me that I would never be that kind of leader. But I also, it was discouraging because as I grew in leadership, I learned there was a lot of leaders that actually do that. It is never their fault. And so for me, what I have learned to do in my growth moment, and I'm going to go to you, Lou, my growth moment was always be a leader I could be proud of, keep my integrity, and then also take ownership when things aren't going well. And I know that it is my fault. I hold myself highly accountable. And as well as I have extremely high expectations, and I know that. But the one thing about me that was an epiphany for me is whatever I expect, I have to be willing to do as a leader. And I have always stayed true to that. If I want you to be the best receptionist, one day a couple days, I'm gonna fill in for you. Let me learn this because I can't think that I am above you. And in order to grow you, I have to be willing to do what I expect. So that was my growth moment in leadership. So what about you?
I think my big thing was to try to emulate. When I first became a teacher, um, I felt like I felt like that was the best way to be able to teach kids is to be fair and to treat them with love and respect. And that just reminded me to just treat them all like my kids. That's why I always say that I have so many children. I try to treat children in my class and students in the hallway like they are my child. You know what I'm saying? I know that I have a very straight black coffee mentality. I will, if you do something wrong, I'm gonna tell you. You might not like how I tell you, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. I've had good principals, good leaders that allow me to be me because I am just about as raw as straight black coffee. And I give kids that. My students absolutely know that, like they say, Mr. Lewis, you 100. And what I tell people is that no matter what you think about these kids still have a pure eye. Kids can look at an adult and tell you if you fake as soon as you walk in the room. Kids know what's real. Real recognize real. They don't know enough to not be real. They don't know how to play that game yet. We've all learned how to play that game. So that's not a game that Mr. Lewis is gonna play. I'm gonna be 100 with you. I'm gonna tell you, like I said, if it hurt, it's just gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna get past the hurt. But I gotta tell you who you are and when you doing it. My aha moment as a leader. I mean, when my first leader, just campus department head, and and I was over all of the teachers and students. So as a campus department head, I realized how unforgiving adults can be towards children, and
Amen.
that's the people that's learning. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know we're lifelong learners. Well, hopefully most adults are lifelong learners. But the children are absolutely learning life because they are what I just said it, how children. Okay. So if you're dealing with children, you're teaching them every day there's something that they're learning. They're learning how to become adults by watching you and their parents. If their parents got some flaws, some negative flaws, then you want to show them the positive way of doing things. I've had kids as a behaviorist tell me that, man, my daddy ain't shit. I said, well, this one is good for you. I'm gonna be that one. You copy me, dog. I got you. I said, no, it ain't gonna be no easy road. I'll buy you them J's, but I'm gonna beat your ass if you do something wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a proponent of corporal punishment, but you know what I'm talking about. You'll get a tongue lashing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I realized, my aha moment was how teachers act the same as the kids. Like they get on kids for stuff that they don't want the admin team to get on them about. Now, if you're writing 10, 15 tardies a day, and I see you come into your classroom 15 minutes late every day, if I say something to you, you ain't your feelings. But you writing up this kid every single time. Where is the grace, man? You know what? I heard you say, Blue, that you was talking about T-test, or you mentioned T-test.
Yeah.
You know how teachers would be different if the performance evaluation came from the kids?
Oh,
Let me go ahead on. I'm gonna go ahead on and repeat that like y'all didn't hear me. Now you got your regular T-test from your administrators. You got to have that lined out, your
Right.
routines, everything, blah blah blah, and some of that pertains to more money. But I'll be damned if those kids got to give you a performance evaluation
Ooh,
for your money. You would
that's
treat
like
them a whole lot different. So
what they
that
real say, like Lil Wayne.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true.
that's what I'm talking about. Let them have an
Yeah.
evaluation. Let the students have an evaluation on you. Because
Oh,
I
it's a
know
wrap.
both of y'all are principals, AP principal, and all the way up to directors. And you was an area superintendent. And I saw how you treated kids when you was on that level. You walk in the classroom and start teaching the kids. Once
Yep.
you saw what was going on and how the teacher had it structured, you stepped in and started teaching. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit there and do the whole T-test because you want to teach too.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I walk in the classroom. If I'm doing a observation and your class is engaged, I want to teach too. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get in there and sit amongst the kids, get embedded and learn some stuff. But what I cannot stand is that hypocritical nature that you different from somebody else. You get to treat them like shit, but then when we get on your behind, you want to file a grievance.
And
Yeah,
they want to
no,
have
that
a
ain't
whole
how it go.
now they want to have a whole parking lot conversation, a
Yeah.
whole dang shit party in the parking lot.
And you are really acting like a child. You're doing the same thing the kids doing, you just bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I say it all the time. The adults are just kids that got big. And until you realize that, until you have that epiphany of how you're supposed to move, you still acting like a child, man.
Right.
It's not a big deal. Have grace, give grace, and then it's bad when it happened to you. Students, I mean, I'm tired of hearing students say they don't teach me shit, they don't do shit. All they doing is passing out papers. Kids can't be engaged doing stuff like that. I tell people all the time because I consider myself somewhat of a comedian. So
Mhm.
I mean, you're gonna have fun in my class. I'm a clown. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna have a good time. I don't care what I'm teaching, adults or kids. We got to have a good time because I don't want nobody falling asleep in my class. Kids don't fall asleep in my class because my class is fun. Whether we
Yep.
teaching polynomials or anatomy, physiology, we gonna have fun. And then
Right.
that's life for them now. I hope I didn't run too far, but I'm on my soapbox now, y'all. I
No,
hope I don't. I'm gonna be a little PG in here for a minute.
hey, that's good stuff. Because I'm gonna tell you, I always say, whatever gets modeled is what gets mimicked. And the thing about it is, it breaks my heart when I hear students say, "My teacher doesn't care. She doesn't like me anyway." And I literally dread hearing that from a kid because that means they're coming every day in your presence and thinking you don't care. Imagine how that feels when an adult goes to the office to the administrator and then the administrator shuns them and then they go back in their feelings like they don't like me. Well, that's what I'm modeling what you're doing to kids. And so you're mimicking it. So I have to, even though some of them, I don't want to hear about your turtle dying. I really don't want to hear it. I have to muster up empathy because that's what you need. And I have to model that for you so that you can mimic that for kids. So I'm gonna go to you, Jay. What's your aha moment?
Well, for me, I'm gonna tell you, after seeing so many people in the game, I was like, you know what, especially some good. But God got a way of doing things. And so for me, being in elementary for so long, I thought that was my niche. That's what I'm supposed to be till I got to high school. Man, when I tell you and I got to high school, it just changed. And so for me, I found out where my jam was, and this was it. But being able to elevate and get kids into school, that's the thing that really made me realize, okay, I like this. Like I had a kid graduated last year, made sure the kid got on us. We were taking a trip to TSU. And I was leaving from Houston. I called the school. I said, hey, make sure that this young man brings his trumpet with him so he could. We got him an audition for TSU band. I said I need him to have his trunk. Called the lady when they were on the bus. I said, hey, my boy got his stuff. Yeah, he got it. And so we got to the school, found out they had to raise the time. I said, hey, how y'all doing? Hey, my friend brother was the person gonna host everything. I said we got to get to the band hall. Kid got to the band hall, played, got a full scholarship to TSU. Well, the icing on the cake for that though, now this is a kid been in the country, little Hispanic kid. parents came over here to America. He didn't know how he was gonna get to college. Hey, played in the Beyonce concert this past Christmas. Yeah,
What?
and down there, and TSU just went to Mardi Gras, and he was like, "Mr. Fallon, between you and Mr. Long, I can't never repay." I said, "Yes, you can. Graduate, be a productive citizen. That's all we want."
Yeah.
I said, we're about growing people, and that's the thing. So, for me, being able to impact lives like that, that's my niche. That's my jam. That's what I love. And so,
Yeah.
you know, I I could do anything, with whether if it's elementary, middle school, or high, but I know where I belong. And so,
Yeah.
is the thing for me, as long as I allow God to keep using me, because I tell y'all, someday I'll be like, Lord, why you got me in this? Because it's dog out here. Like, we got people trying to stop public school spending and funding,
Yeah.
want to give it to the charters and all of that. I can feel where a teacher is up here, because there's some days I'm up here. Like, I'd be glad when I can get your vote, because I can't retire yet. I'm waiting on 2032. But it's just, those are the things that just, it keeps you going when you see things like that.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, as both of you were talking, it made me think, I've had experiences with both of you where we saved someone's life, where
Oh,
we
yeah.
changed their whole trajectory. Like, we had Jay and I had this one student, he was a project. Like, we had tag team that joker. But and literally he finished high school and he became a star quarterback. And literally, there are times that we had to correct him, check him, and then there's times we had to hug him and let him cry. But it was a proud moment to see him graduate. And the crazy part is, from elementary to high school, Sanders stuck with him, and he would send us that picture. Hey, look who our boy that graduated. And it was a good feeling. And then there's also been times where, let me tell you, I was in elementary, Luz made me fall in love with high school. Cause I was like, at first when I got my promotion, I was like, I don't want that school. Like, I don't want to go over there. I like little kids. I want to go back because I had been an AP in the high school before, and I knew I loved the little kids. But that school was the greatest blessing of my entire career, because I got a chance to pour into them when it mattered. And that changed my whole outlook. There's one student and his cousin that gotten killed, and he had it in his mind, I'm gonna have retaliation. I don't care what y'all telling me. I'm leaving and I'm going to do something. And we literally were outside talking this child, like, I had to put my title to the side. Like, look, I'm one blessing away from being where you are today. And I just had somebody who changed me and put me on the right path. We had to talk to him like real stuff
Walk in the parking lot.
in the parking lot, because he was determined, I'm leaving and I got to do what I got to do. He was here he had moved it from Louisiana, and he was in so much pain, and we just wrapped around him and he just let it out, cried. But we made a commitment to him to make sure he graduated. After he left and went back to his regular campus, I literally kept going over to his school, checking in with the counselor, make sure he was there until he graduated. And he actually graduated. And I went to his graduation because I wanted him to know. And he said to me afterwards, he said, I didn't realize you cared so much. I said, I don't lie to you. When I tell you I'm going to be in your life and I'm your village, I will always be your village. And you can call me. He texts me. In fact, I literally have his number. I'm like, hey, what you doing now with your life? And we talk about it. But it's just funny how I've had those moments with you all where we really saved someone's life. And I know you have countless other stories that you could tell. And if I could say anything to leaders, don't ever abandon your mission, your purpose, not just your mission, but your purpose, because you never know that one yes or that one act that you do can change the whole trajectory for somebody's child. And it's not always the parent. Sometimes we have to be the parental figure because they're just not listening. Doesn't mean they got bad parents. It doesn't mean that, they have a bad household or they're coming from, some title, underpowered situation. Sometimes it just takes a neutral voice to penetrate their heart, to put them on the right path. So if that's my do, if I could tell leaders to do anything, do not abandon your purpose, because it will show up when it matters if you are truly on this God-given journey to save children's lives. My don't is, don't ever think that your title entitles you to respect. That is my don't. Don't ever think that because you are on a different pay grade or your name reads a little differently on the paper, that people are going to automatically respect you. Respect is earned, respect is modeled, and respect is acquired by the acts of service that you do. And so,
You know what?
so
That's
what's
that's
your
a
do
that's a
and
good
don't?
deal.
Give me a do and don't as we close this thing out.
Hey, let me tell you this right here. I tell people all the time, if you the principal of the building, people gonna know it. They don't have to call you principal. Anytime you got to go around telling people, well, I'm the principal, you're really not. You're really not. And I used to tell people all the time, don't call me principal Sanders, just call me Mr. Sanders. And I ain't got my doctorate yet, so don't call me. I can't call me doc. Hey, but we working on it. We put it in existence. I appreciate that, but right now I'm not that. But my dudes. Hey, Ken Wallace said this. God rest his soul. He used to be principal at North Shore. He said this. What you are interviewing for your next job, for the job you're on right now. So one of my duties is I tell teachers that. I hear this all the time. I want to be a specialist. I want to be an AP. Okay, what are you doing to get there? Yeah, I'm gonna help grow you, but how are you acting? Like, if I see you in class just sitting down all the time, you're not ready for this work. Cause administration comes from smoke. And if you're not ready for that smoke, just like if you doing this just to get out the classroom, stay where you at. Because if that's the case, I will stay there. One of my dudes is, lead by example. What I expect from you, people see me picking trash. Like I heard a kid, Miss Stein, you always picking up trash. Yeah. I mean, because here's the thing. Do I want that trash? If we was at home, would you let trash just be on the floor? No. You gonna do what? Pick it up. Man, I never thought about it like that.
What's your don't in leadership?
Don't sit up and tell me something you can't do it. Don't sit up and tell me where we gonna do this. I got this, do that. Because when you lie to me, it's like I can't trust you no more. And if it's no trust, then how can we work collaboratively? Because if I can't trust you, I really can't work with you.
So be true to your word, basically.
Yeah,
be true to your word. So your do is to model what you expect, and your don't is to be true. Don't over deliver. Over promise and under deliver. Don't do what you do what you say you're gonna do.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I know people get overwhelmed and all of that. I know that, but don't sit up here and say you're gonna be able to do something and then you lie to me, because it's not no really, oh my bad. I'm gonna look at it like, was you plotting? Was you scheming? What we doing?
Because like Cat Williams said, all lies will be exposed.
They
definitely are.
That's fact. So it makes you with that side eye. You be like, you gotta watch it. Keep both eyes open. So that's mine.
Good stuff. Lou, what's your do and what's your don't?
Well, I'm a straight black coffee person. So I ain't gonna be no fluff to it. I believe if you're in a position of leadership, you're in the classroom, your job is to help. You are to be a helper. You are a helpmeet to your principals, your AP, your school, your everything, especially those kids who are our customers. And if you ain't gonna help them, don't hurt them. Don't hurt them. Don't do things. The kids remember every single thing that they do. I'm also certified in special ed, and I tell my kids that they said, well, I'm in special ed. I said, man, everybody is special ed. I said, everybody on earth is emotionally disturbed. So you don't let somebody make you feel different from everybody else. Everybody has had something happen to them that kind of messed them up. The adjustment to it is where the work come in. I believe in raising kids that's not yours, and that's called teaching. When you raising kids that's not yours, that's called teaching. you have got to be that parent at that school. Teaching is hard work, and hard work is hard work. If you don't
Yeah.
want to work hard every day, you do not want to be a teacher. You cannot be a teacher because of vacation time and
Agreed.
how
The
the
summer
school year
off.
runs. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? You got to be real about this game.
Mhm.
And when it's like I used to say all the time, when God created a kid that I'm scared of, I'm fixing to retire. If you don't like your job or you don't like kids, don't be a teacher. If you a
That's
new
right.
teacher coming in and you think this is where I want to be, it's a nice salary. I want to teach kids. When you get there and you experience that this is not for me, my classroom management, I don't even know how to handle
Yeah.
kids like that. Man, leave, quit.
Yeah. So your
Don't
do is
don't
know
hurt me.
that teaching is your hard work and it's gonna be hard work. So in leadership, you gotta know that you're cultivating hard work. That's gonna be hard work.
Hard.
And your
Yeah.
don't is tell me your don't again.
My don't is don't hurt them in the process. Do not hurt people in the process.
Yeah.
And adults they just big kids, so you can hurt adults too if you don't know how to
Yeah.
talk to them.
That's
But you
true.
definitely can hurt our children, and that's
Mhm.
not me.
Yeah. So
My biggest thing is when a kid tell me, well, when they tell you that they love you or you their favorite teacher, and it's your first year there, or a kid tell you that you the best teacher I ever had, and you at the
yeah.
DAEP. Or the ultimate is when the kids call you daddy. Because I know my kids ain't calling nobody else daddy. And that's
Yeah.
not a competition. That means I'm 100 with my kids and they love their daddy. So when
Yeah.
other kids my school, my old school, my past schools send you stuff on Father's Day on Facebook talking about they love you
Yeah.
daddy,
Yeah.
hey man, you know you did something.
Yeah.
And
You
that's my impression I want to leave. That's what I'm trying to leave behind.
I
I'm
tell
everybody.
you, you're right about that. And that's powerful stuff. Like both of y'all have given powerful things. When I had my retirement party, I had my students from my very first class there to
Wow.
do speak. And that lets you know that when I lock arms with you, I'm committed to you. That's that hard work you're talking about. I try to track all of my my students and people that I encounter. I really am authentic when I say I love you and I am here for you. So it was just amazing that my students from my very first where I practiced on them. I didn't even know if I was going to be a good teacher was at my first school, and they showed up and to give me the flowers because they said that I changed their life. And they
Wow.
shared all these memories that I had done. And I was boohoo crying, that ugly cry. But they really but the most profound one was my student who was in special ed and he could not learn to read. And he let me know because I would not give up on him. He learned not only he has a master's degree, he is
Oh my God.
he is thriving.
Oh man.
And he really shared that. And that's what you want to leave. I want to leave a legacy of leadership and not just a moment in time as a leader. So I thank you guys. Hey, I really need to get on that Straight Black Coffee podcast. I have something to say.
Well, we can make that happen. We're gonna have to make that happen.
Please do. I thank you, gentlemen, for just sharing all of your leadership nuggets. It's been some valuable content drop, and thank you for the stories and just opening up as we are on this quest to really grow and cultivate more leaders and also impact the world by the light that God gives us because this is really an anointed job. You have to have an anointing to be able to lead in this field where there are so many young, impressionable lives counting on you to make the right decisions and to center them around the right people to help them grow and be productive citizens. So thank you for your journey. Don't give up on it. And thank you for taking time to sit and chat with your girl on the Leadership Logic podcast. You are my brothers and I love you and I wish nothing but the best for you.
And
Same
right back
here.
at
Same
you.
here.
Right back at you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, now y'all have a go.
You
Take
too.
it easy, Blue. Take it easy, Blue 5.